If you're thinking about buying a house or land, I need you to stop what you're doing and watch this video, because buyers are making one of the biggest financial regrets of their lives. Buying real estate this way is one-sided. I'm talking about rent to own, rent options, lease purchase. It sounds good on the surface. However, buyers are stuck with cost, repairs, unnecessary expenses. You're being told that part of your rent is going towards your down payment. However, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. You see, you may be locking yourself into a bad deal, overpaying for a home, forfeiting thousands of dollars potentially, and taking on risk and unnecessary repairs that as a renter, you should never have to worry about. That's why in this video, I'm breaking down the real dangers of buying a house this way, the red flags to look out for, and most importantly, ways that you can avoid getting stuck in a long, expensive, lengthy contract. Let's jump in. So for starters, and I'll just run down about 10 of them that I'm very well aware of being 30 years in this business. For one, you can lose any and every money, all the money, every cent that you paid in. Overrides, cost, fees, whatever it may be. Because if you so much as are late or miss one payment, if it's in the fine print of the contract, they can cancel the contract. Now, number two is quite simply, you're locked into that price. So you're doing a rent to own, rent option that says in the contract what you're going to pay for the home. Oftentimes, they'll charge you more actually for the house. Now what you run into with that is once you get locked in, you're paying for the house. What if the prices in the areas go down? Real estate is hyper local, so you never know when the price is going to come up and when the price is going to go down. And most importantly, you don't want to get locked into buying a house, agreeing on a price. You go to purchase it and get financing, then it won't appraise. Then you can't buy the house, you've lost all your money. Now, number 3 and 4, and you're welcome to write these down. Number 3 is the seller can lose the house. See, oftentimes you don't know what a financial situation a person is in. They may be renting the house because they had to go live with mom and dad, or they had to move out, had to do something, and they're renting you their house. They say they used to live in it, but you don't know if there's liens on the property, tax liens, encumbrances. That home can be really repossessed while you still own it. The other thing, number 4, is repairs. When you rent a house this way, what they'll do is say, oh, okay, you're going to do a lease option. You're going to rent to own it. So now, from here on out, once we sign the contract, you're responsible for any and all repairs. Now, don't get me wrong. I just think personally, when you rent something, if you're renting it, the person that owns it should be responsible for making those repairs. Now, I may be wrong, I may be right. Just tell me what you think. Give me a thumbs up, and of course, leave your comment. Let's jump to number 5. Before we jump into the next one, let me share this with you. There is a difference between a lease option and rent to own, leasing to own and lease option. And the difference quite simply is this. If you're renting to buy it, rent to own, then you're renting to eventually buy it. And you should have a contract to purchase that. Don't go off just a handshake. If it's not in writing, an old judge told me one time, if you don't have it in writing, it never happened. Now, if you do a lease option, the option is simply just you're leasing it, you're not paying any money, and you have what they call the first right of refusal to be able to purchase the house. That's called a lease with the option to buy. Now, as far as the money that you could lose, because I've said that a couple of times, you'll lose money, you lose money, right? You have to understand that when you do something like this, like a rent to own or lease option, or most importantly, rent to own, they're going to ask for the first month's rent, the last month's rent, a pet deposit, and they'll ask for a deposit, right? Well, you got that money there, and then oftentimes they'll ask for even more money, like down payment, or give me $5,000 or $6,000 down. You don't want to do anything like that, and that's why it typically doesn't work out well. You're better off just to sit tight, rent the house. That gives you more options, and simply just tell the landlord, the owner of that property, hey, if you ever go to sell it, would you mind giving me first dibs? Since I'm currently leasing and renting the property, I'd love to be able to buy it from you. There's not a landlord on the planet that doesn't own the property that would love to sell it that easy, that quick, because when they sell it to you and you're already in the house, it saves them a whole lot of time, a whole lot of stress, and a whole lot of money. Number 5 is you have no legal ownership or equity in that property until the end. So anything that you do, any improvements that you make, you're a renter. Whether it's rent to own, lease option, it doesn't matter, you're still a renter. Number 6 is the contracts that you sign are heavily weighed on the seller. They're heavily weighed on the landlord, and you have to read the fine print, because oftentimes they can cancel the contract for doing something as small as having a neighbor complain on you or anything of the imagination. That's why I say oftentimes they're so one-sided when it comes to these contracts. And if you don't read the fine print, it's a way that unfortunately people will lease you the property. And if this is a case that you've been in, or you know somebody that has, give me a thumbs up, share your story. I think it's really important for us to all learn and know about this information, because when the contract is canceled, you're losing money and you have not a leg to stand on. Now, before I forget, I want to share an option with you that you can purchase a little house like this. And listen, I'm not trying to sell you on a house. I'm just telling you the ways to buy houses and the ways not to buy houses. Here's one right here. It's in Slidell, Louisiana. It's about 40 minutes outside of New Orleans, 159.9. It is a foreclosure. It needs a little love, a little TLC, but the inside's great. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 1,500 square feet, privacy fenced in backyard, big live oak tree in the back on a dead-end street. You can buy houses like this with an FHA loan. You only need 3.5% down payment. The seller can pay your closing cost. With a USDA loan, if you make under $115,000 a year in this area, you can purchase a house like this to live in, and the payments be less than rent, and it's a 100% loan. The United States Department of Agriculture will give you a 100% loan as long as you have 620 or higher credit score, 2 years on the job, and show proof of income. Now, number 7 is you never know what the future holds. You could be denied in the future for whatever it may be. There may be something negative on your credit. You may lose your job. There may be health reasons for whatever the situation may be. And if it's not a stipulation in the fine print that if you can't purchase in the time that's stated in the contract, that you can get your deposit back in any money. If it doesn't say that, you're going to lose all your money. Now, number 8 is the tax benefits. You see, owning a house, you actually get the tax benefits. And when you're living in that house and it's just rent to own, you get no tax benefits, no breaks whatsoever. You're just living in the house. And that's why I always tell people, and believe it or not, you would be surprised how many people truly want to purchase a home. I get no less than, I get hundreds of people that reach out to my team and I every single month that say, we want to buy a house, we want to buy a house. People want to buy a house, and that's why I created this channel. Now, if you've already subscribed, I'm more than grateful. Thank you so much. God's blessed me beyond measure. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, because I promise you, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. It's all about real estate, residential real estate, buying land, flipping properties, whatever it may be. Let's jump in to number 9. Now, number 9 is rent payments are much higher. You see, they tell you that part of your rent is going to go towards your down payment or your closing cost. However, you'll pay a premium in rent. Now, that's not always the case, but that's just something that you have to look out for, because they'll tell you, oh, it's $1,800 a month, it's rent to own. Well, it's like comparable properties, houses in the area or land are going for much less. And so you're going to be paying more. So you need to make sure that you're not overpaying in rent. Now, number 10 is something that's really important, and not necessarily saving the worst or best for last, but you have to know number 10 is having the proper insurance on the house. We all live in areas where there's fires, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, you name it. Most people don't realize that 26 states actually border water. So you got to make sure, is this house actually in a flood zone that you're renting? Because if it's in a flood zone and that seller doesn't have flood insurance and that house floods, you're stuck. If there's a roof that's damaged, you're stuck. If they don't have the proper insurance in place. So you want to make sure you get a copy of their insurance and the override so you can actually see the coverage and that it is insured. However, when you do that, they can cancel the insurance the very month later. Now listen, I'm not trying to be a negative person or pessimistic. I'm just giving you stuff that you own so you can make a list and say, okay, if I'm going to rent to own land or a house, this is what Wayne Turner says do. This is the checklist that I have. So listen, thank you for watching. I am more than grateful. Give me a thumbs up, like, leave a comment. I answer all the comments myself. I know I sound kind of crazy, but I just enjoy doing this. It's my passion. Until next time, may God bless you.